following program contains disturbing materials that may not be suitable for some resellers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Doing something I normally don't do, but I'm going to rip off James Helfer's Day and do a little working video and talk to you, just random thoughts while I'm working. It's been a very, very boring time here at home. Jenna's not here. She's with her sister, and I guess her sister's having surgery tomorrow. And that's kind of all I'll say about that. But she's there to help with her kids because it's just going to be a kind of a chaotic nightmare, and it'll be virtually impossible for her sister. So she's there taking care of that part of things, and I'm here handling the business, which means that I'm handling things I normally don't really handle, like the shipping and the cross listing, working with that kind of stuff. And I already found like I didn't have a lot of time on my hands, and I have less and less time now than ever before. So I still want to make content, but finding the time to make content has really been a challenge. And it's, I want to do this channel right, guys, and I want to make good content for you guys, and I just don't know how to do it without the time. Couple that with the fact that this morning we recorded the Profit Playbook podcast, and about a half an hour into it, I started feeling the migraine come on. I thought that the migraine issue was going to be gone when this wisdom tooth was extracted. So I don't know if there's a nerve issue going on here, and maybe there's some healing going on from the tooth extraction last month. Maybe it's going to clear itself up. I don't know. Maybe a little high blood pressure going on. I don't know. But with my health insurance, we have this health insurance, and this, pardon me, this gimbal's going crazy, by the way, so I apologize for it swinging around. But the health insurance is like the soonest I can get in is May. And Jenna's got appointments and stuff, and I just as soon she get hers done before me if she can. But is getting the stuff done and taken care of with the medical has just been frustrating. And I told her today that it's almost like I can go to an online clinic or a local clinic here in town and pay the same copay amount, which is what I've done before, and get some kind of care. At least I'm not getting any kind of care. So this feeling bad stuff, it sucks, and I just kind of want it to stop. So enough about me. I am playing with my Roombas today. I wish this gimbal wouldn't act this way. It's just really jumpy. But yeah, I'm playing with the Roombas today, and I had 2 sets of these with the self-cleaning base that I have listed already. And this one's kind of acting weird. Like it's fully operational. I've actually had it paired with the app at one point. Was getting ready to list it a third set in used condition, but it's like the battery like kind of died on it. So I figured there's something wrong with the battery, and I think I'm only able to get like $120, $130 for these units with the base, the self-cleaning base, the kind that sucks everything out of the robot. You have to like empty the bag every 60 days or something like that, which is pretty cool. But this particular model, the Roomba i5, and it even has like a mop attachment, like a little mop attachment that you can swap in there. But it's not selling for that much. So I figure like I can take this thing apart, the wheels. So on the bottom of this thing, the wheels will fetch about $40. This unit right here that holds the brushes will make about $40. The internal board, get about $40. Each of these bins is like 20 or $30, $20, $30. So really, at the end of the day, I still have like sensors that'll go for like 20, 30, 40 bucks. The battery on this one is not any good, but I have some of these other units where the battery is good, and that's like 20, 30 bucks. Little stupid things like the battery compartment. I don't know where you're going, Gimbal. I'm right here. The battery compartment is like 5 or 10 bucks plus shipping. Just it all adds up, and you sell the parts individually, and you have more transactions, but you have, I think, fewer opportunities for a problem like a return. So like you sell the whole unit, and like one thing goes wrong, and then you're going to have to unravel the whole thing. Whereas maybe you could have one return out of all these parts, but you've sold like 10 different parts. I don't know. The base unit, by the way, I didn't tell you about that. The base unit, this thing right here, sells for like 70, 80 bucks. So why would I sell these as one whole unit at the price point that they're going for? Now, I guess you'd say you'd have to have some expertise in taking these things apart, and I kind of do. It's not hard to do this. You simply have to have a little patience and know where to look when you come across a component that you can't really get to. And like, how do I take this part off? It's not obvious. And then you go in and maybe do a YouTube search for maybe a teardown video. And that's kind of what we do. I'm firing this cameraman. What is wrong with you, Gimbal? Hopefully this isn't the theme of this video. Again, this is just going to be me making a video for who knows how long, maybe 30, 40 minutes. Hopefully you guys can hang with me while I try to get some work done here. Yeah, really not a whole lot on the agenda. The account, I just sold $1,000 stereo, a receiver. Pretty happy about that. It was in my pallet. I think I bought the pallet for like 300 and something dollars, almost 400 bucks. And it cost averaged out. So what I like to do is I like to go in and cost average out the things that are in that pallet based on MSRP. So as how much I paid for the whole thing versus the MSRP to determine a percentage. So in this particular case, I was into it like for like 5%, 4 or 5% of MSRP. And then I'll take the listed MSRP for that receiver, for instance, which is like $1,500. And then I will then take that 4 to 5% of that, and that's my buy cost. So it turns out my buy cost on that was $46. And in pre-owned condition, this was sort of like in between pre-owned slash open box. But if there's any doubt, you always want to kind of side with the lesser condition. So in this case, we sided with pre-owned, and we had it for 1,200. And I wasn't getting really any bites. It was up for a couple weeks, and I decided to lower it down a little bit. I lowered it down to 1,100, and then I got a hit. Someone made an offer. I turned on offers, by the way. They offered me $1,001. Now I don't know why 1,001, but I was very happy to get the offer because it gave me some control on an item like that, $1,000 item. Someone comes in and buys your item blindly, you have no idea who you're dealing with. You have no idea. And gave me a moment. I went in. I just wanted to see how they interact. They had about over 1,000 feedback. So that's both good and bad. I mean, it's good from the standpoint they know how to do eBay, but it's bad from the standpoint that they know how to do eBay and they know all the tricks, and they know how eBay works. They know about the buyer protection. They know the little things that they can do if they are trying to get over on you. So that's when you have a big ticket item like that, you tend to be more careful about like, packing it up and who you're dealing with. And in this case, checking their feedback left for others, it was not Christmas time. It was just all green, 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 positive feedback, very good, short to the point, no novels feedback. And I was feeling pretty good about it. Not that only, but This person is only about a state away from me. I'm in Nevada, they're in Colorado. And that means that this unit's going to be in transit a lot shorter. So for a lot shorter period of time, which gives FedEx less time to screw things up and to beat up my unit. Of course, it's packed up real well, but I don't care how packed or well packed you have an item. There's always a chance they can get in there and work their magic and jack things up. And I did insure it, and it is scheduled for a uh, signature upon delivery, and I think eBay does encourage that if it's over a certain amount. I think I would do it over $300, but that's up to each and every person. But I don't want the buyer to have the package left and then they find that some porch pirate came and picked it up, and now they're filing a chargeback, and it's on me at the end of the day. So I don't want to deal with that. So I'll pay the extra for that. It's only like $10 more. So that's a good sale. Happy about that. And just trying to make the best out of what we have here. I got to tell you, there's challenges in working with liquidation. There just is. There's just lots of challenges. um, I think I mentioned it before on the podcast, maybe on my lives, that with liquidation you have a lot of units that look good, they test good, um, at least the basic tests, and then something goes wrong. And then I'll tell you about a mistake that I made. I'm always making mistakes, and I think sometimes I'm looking to find the quickest way of being able to process units. So I received that Roomba pallet where I got a lot of the Roomba stuff. I'm working on some of it right now, but I had like 30 or 40 units of the same model. And when I opened them up, they were all in their initial original packages. They, for the most part, had the majority of their accessories. Most of them had everything but the brush. Some did, like the roller brush. Some didn't have it, and some were missing the bins. But what they all seemed to have in common, they were just perfectly clean, brand new clean, not just kind of well kept clean. I'm talking brand new clean. And anyone who's ever messed with these robot vacuums, these Roombas, will know where the area where the brushes go, there is a lot of like grime and dirt and stuff that is really hard to get off and get to. None of these units had that. And the weird thing is, these are customer returns having the original packaging. The chargers were there. Some didn't have brushes. Some did not have bins, but everything, all of them were immaculate. Now, I was able to piece these units together. So out of the 30 some odd that I received, I was only able to make about 10 complete units. And of course, you do the basic power on test. You push the button to power them on. They fire up, and that was enough for me. They looked brand new. Sold them as open box. The brushes that I had of the 10, they were new brushes. Bins were new. So I had no reason to believe there was going to be any problems. Well, as it turns out, I started getting complaints. People were saying that um, they weren't able to connect it to their app, or when they did connect it with the app said that the machine was actually vacuuming when it was still sitting on the charger. So I didn't go through the steps of hooking each and every one of these up to the Roomba app, which is kind of a pain in the butt if you're doing multiples, right? If you're doing one, it's like a 20-minute process, 15-minute process. Not only to hook it up, but you got to make sure these things have enough charge for them to do its basic initial mapping that's the first thing it wants to do, is map your location. So I took a shortcut, and I assumed, which was probably the first thing I should not have done, is I assumed that these were going to be good. And it turns out that almost all of them were not. So I have a bunch of returns, and as a result, my return ratios are really jacked up. In addition to that, I had one left. When I got back from my little trip to my golf trip, I had intended to take that listing down. And as luck would have it, I'm in the middle of doing 1,000 things. I'm dealing with an eBay issue, so I'm calling an unrelated eBay issue, so I'm calling eBay about that. I think it was a Vero issue that I was dealing with on top of it, involving Roombas. I'll get to that here in a second. So I'm on the phone with eBay, and I get that wonderful cha-ching. But in this case, it wasn't so wonderful. It was a buyer who bought my last Roomba. So I'm looking at it. Wow, my returns are high already, higher than they've ever been. I'm talking like 6% plus, guys. It's not good. Just one of the downfalls of liquidation. You get a lot of returns. You can't test every feature. But in this case, I knew that there's an outstanding chance that there's something not right with this machine. So, of course, what did I do? I went and opened the box up and I gave it a thorough testing, and it powered up, put it on the charger, and got it all set up with the Roomba app, and then hit the button on the app for it to do its thing, and it sat on the app, but the app thought it was working, like the people had said. The people had complained to me that there was a problem with. So I said to myself, I can send this thing out knowing it's going to come back as a return, another return hitting my metrics. You don't want that. Or I can cancel this out and take a defect. And of course, I'm checking my defects. I think I had one for out of stock like early in the year. And you don't want more than one, but maybe you can absorb two if you have enough sales. And I kind of did the math in my head, and I said, well, I hate to do it, but I think I'm going to have to go that route. So I went in, sent her a message, the buyer, and said, look, had a number of these, they're not working properly. I think this is a bad batch of these, and I'd hate to send you one and it's not working right. So I'm going to just go ahead and give you your money back. So I canceled the sale, gave her her money back. And that jacked my defect rate up to 0.49%, which any of you guys know, you can't have more than 0.5% defects. So I am right there, which means, of course, I'm going to do everything I can to prevent any future defects. And I'll do everything that I can to make sure that doesn't happen. But that's a ratio based on the number of items you sell. So if the number of sold items fall off, then it's going to affect that ratio, and I could easily be over 0.5%. And I really kicked myself for putting myself in that position. Then dealing with the Vero. So those of you guys know my philosophy on the whole thing with stock photos. eBay allows you to utilize stock photos. Now, it just so happens that on some of the Roomba models, they are compatible with the Roomba app. So Roomba likes to show the vacuum cleaner with a cell phone sitting next to it to show the buyer that it's compatible. Well, that wasn't really all that important to me because on this particular listing, I was selling parts. And the way I had it set up was I took the stock photo and I took just the vacuum cleaner and I put it on a white background, put a header of what it was, and then on the bottom put parts. I know that eBay doesn't want you to do that, but they just say that. They don't want you to put text in your gallery photo, your main photo. But I've done it many times. As many people do it, and this works. And when I'm doing a variation listing for all the parts within this vacuum, it gives a buyer a place to go to, oh, I need parts for my vacuum. I'll go and see if I can find it here. And I've had this listing up for quite some time. And apparently, while I was gone, they decided, I guess Roomba hit them up. At least that's what they said. And they said that they were going to Well, they did take it down, and they wanted me to remove the stock photos. So what I said to myself, this is when I got back. So this happened while I was gone. But when I got back, I decided to work on this listing, and I said, okay, I'm not going to use a stock photo, but I'm going to emulate that same photo. So at the time, my sister-in-law was over, and I said, okay, I'm going to use my phone to take a photo of this particular unit, and I'm going to use her phone to emulate the stock photo. And that's exactly what I did. And then on her phone, instead of a picture of her kids, I went in and edited that out and put, this is not a stock photo. This is an original photo, not a stock photo, on the phone, so that anyone looks at it will see, at least use common sense, that this is not the same as a stock photo. I then went in, removed the background, add my lettering like I did before, and replaced my old photo, or the old photo utilizing the stock photo, with this one, and relaunched it. So started thinking about it. I said, you know what? I need to go in and add parts to this listing anyway, add some variations I didn't have before. And I really don't want this listing tied to a Vero takedown warning of any kind. I don't want there to be any red flags on this listing. So I decided a couple hours later that I was just going to go in and end the listing. And then when I was ready to go in to redo the listing with the new parts on some of these, um, that I would just start from scratch. And I thought that was the end of it. I went into the, whenever you have to go in and correct a Vero listing due to a stock photo takedown, they do now give you the option to either end the listing or to dispute. Now, I had clicked on the dispute because I let them know I actually have removed the stock and put my own, but I then went in and ended. So I went and ended the listing. Fast forward to the next day, I get a message from eBay saying that I have again violated their Vero policy. Now, there's no way I violated the policy because A, the listing was canceled. It was no longer a live listing. I canceled it. And B, there was no longer a stock photo in the listing. This was my photo. And so I called eBay and I said, look, two things are wrong here. Even if I didn't go in and change this photo to my own stock photo, or to my own photo instead of the stock photo, you already hit me with the Vero on this. So why are you hitting me again? And number two, I ended the listing. So it's not even like it's live. It never changed its status until I clicked end listing. But that shouldn't give you there's nobody that's going to see it. So the idea that Roomba went back and complained again, it's not possible because the item was never relisted. It was just sitting in limbo in my active folder because they already had taken the visibility off of that listing. So this is not driven by Roomba. This is driven by eBay. And I said somebody's going to need to get this second Vero removed, because if you get enough Veros for the same thing, eBay will then start to suspend you. And I've had this happen before with health and beauty, where I was selling stuff that they had deemed as um, over the counter, which weren't, like proactive skincare. That's not over the counter. But yet they hit me twice, even though I had them reinstate the listing saying, okay, it's not an issue. And then I sold this other mouthwash that was deemed over the counter. And guess what? They hit me again under the guise of it being over the counter, and it was not correct. But at the time, um, they said that, we got UPS pulling up here, not for me. They said it was over the counter, and I proved to them it was not. But by then, they had already suspended my account, and that suspension went in for another day until a supervisor corrected it. And then, of course, I unraveled everything, and that was a whole nightmare. So I don't want to go down that same road again. I guess the lesson learned is don't use stock photos. I guess 90 something percent of the brands won't care. And I know that Roomba, I know that Delta faucets, they don't like when you use their stock photos, so I won't use their stock photos anymore. But I'm still in the camp where I'm still competing against people using stock photos for many of the items that I sell, whether they're drop shippers or other people. It's funny, on real quick, on with that in mind, on the Roomba front, on that very model, while I was on hold with the rep, there were 12 people that were using stock photos for the very listing, the same stock photo I was using, and some were even using a screenshot from their phone. You could see what time they took it, how much battery they had on their phone. That was their stock photo. That was their gallery photo. And Roomba didn't hit them up. There's 12 listings other than my own. And Roomba just saw that I was the problem, which tells me that I think someone in the back room was messing with me. I really don't think eBay wants me making these videos, even though I just try to give an honest assessment of what I have going on and what's affecting me as a seller. I think eBay takes a huge exception to that. It's obvious because they only have certain creators that they allow to work with. If you're a cheerleader for eBay, you're in their good side. But if you're honest and fair, and that involves being critical, then they don't want to have anything to do with you, and makes you wonder. I don't know if this is a thing or not, but it makes you wonder if they're actively in the background having people mess with accounts. I can't prove that, so I'm just saying out loud how it seems. Of course, I'm known for drawing conclusions, so that may or may not be true, but it feels that way. So I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. Of course, you learn your lessons as you go through this business, that it's generally not a good idea to use stock photos. And I'm learning that. But at the same time, I also see that there's people that are getting away with it left and right. And my question to the rep was, is eBay honestly, do they honestly care about this issue? Because if you care about what Roomba thinks about me as a seller using their stock photo, wouldn't you go in and remove these other 12? So, and I think the rep was trying to blow smoke up my ass anyway, because it was almost 9 o'clock, and their call center closes at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And I never received a message from eBay about this issue, and they said he was going to put they're going to go through and try to get the second Vero removed, because it should never have happened. It was never, it's like double jeopardy. There's no reason to give me another warning. I didn't do anything at all. I hadn't messed with that listing other than alter the photo, which was my own. I did exactly what they told me to do. And yet I get another Vero hit. So I'm probably going to have to reach out. I don't like spending the kind of time that I have to on the phone with eBay, but I may have to call them and get them to understand that I did nothing wrong to warrant a second warning. I want as many warnings gone. So at the end of the day, I think, I'm making great sales nonetheless. Dealing with a lot of returns because of my own doing. And once I get past this phase that I've learned from, just going to have to be more careful. And I got to get into account protection mode in the meantime, because I don't want to find myself in a position where I'm above standard and not top rated. And I'm just being candid with you guys. I mean, this is something that a lot of channels won't talk about. They won't talk about it because it doesn't put them in a good light. And it's not somewhat embarrassing to tell you guys about this, but at the end of the day, I can't come out here and put on a face that everything is great when it's really not. So I'm fighting through it, guys. I'm fighting through it. I'm fighting through not feeling well. I'm fighting through little extra stuff. This is when you really start to appreciate your partner, when they do things that, kind of, they have your back with shipping and some of the other stuff. And not feeling well. and my account's not feeling well, and I've got to do everything I can to correct these things. But yeah, this is another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I know I didn't really do a lot of work. Just like the other video I put together, I didn't do a lot of work because I'm focused on the content. I'm focused on not bumbling around. I just want to, I want you guys to have some kind of substance that is meaningful out of this. And my apologies to James for stealing his concept of maybe working a little, at least trying to work. I don't have the tool that I need. That's what the problem I'm having. I have a smaller screwdriver. Here's another one. Smaller screwdriver that I would normally use to get some of these screws loosened, and I cannot find it. And it's probably somewhere in this mess of tools that I have around me, but I ain't going to try to look for it while I'm talking to you guys. I'm just going to make do with what I have. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about all the stuff that I had to talk about. I think I'm going to probably cut it there so I can actually get some work done. I got a limited time crunch going on. I have my bowling league tonight. And as crappy as I feel right now, I still feel a sense of obligation to my team to be there tonight. So I'm going to be there tonight, do the best that I can. And yeah, that's just how I roll. So guys, if you buy anything to resell, whether it's liquidation or someone's yard sale stuff, which I label as their regrets, right? You know, they're reselling it for a reason because they at some point regret buying it or they no longer need it. Well, you need to be careful, and you need to make sure that you're testing if it has functionality, whether it's electronics or other things. Make sure that everything is in order before you list it. And that's just and I don't care how good it looks. If it looks brand new from the factory, this batch of Roombas that I received might have been a bunch of recall units that they sent out to liquidation. I've never seen it before, but it very well may be what it is. And I cannot put my account nor myself in that position to have to do the extra work and to try to prevent damage to my account because I've taken shortcuts in my processes. So let this be a learning lesson to each and every one of you guys out there that if it looks good, it may still be good, may be a perfect item or unit, but make sure you test everything out 100%, including connecting it to your phone and all these things, because you might just end up in the situation that I am currently in right now. And dealing with all that and being honest to you guys about that here is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. Want you guys to have an excellent rest of your day, and we will talk to you guys on the live. Hopefully you guys will make the live on Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And until then, take care.
Returns and lowball offers too. Vero takedowns, they're a pain, what can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that is within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the learn from them and you'll